Hi guys, yes, this is the Woman Agenda here with you only. Of course, this is the big debate special. And what are we talking about today? We're talking about human trafficking, women human trafficking in the UK. What's going on in Europe? What's happening there? I'm afraid the situation isn't very good, and that's the real reason we are putting this on focus on the big debate special here, exclusive only on the Woman Agenda. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I would like your comments and obviously your about this special show for today. Please, I'll mention this: the Music Express Zone did not air because of the Christmas week. Country Music Zone isn't airing um, as well on Sunday, and the Asian Connection will not air today. So these are not going to be airing this week only because of the festive period. So it will not be airing this week and will not be actually airing next week either because of the New Year's. So these 2 weeks it will not be airing. Yes, Bollywood Central will be airing. Um, that's the only one which will be airing, but the rest will be airing after the New Year. Hence, like the Big Debate Special, and we would be airing the Women Difference Makers program, which you'll be seeing after this. Could be on the channel, so make sure you click on the subscribe button so you can get a notification when that airs. And obviously, like I said, Bollywood Central will be airing as well today. So stay for all Bollywood latest and interesting information. Stay tuned for that. And we will be trying to be air something another festive special today as well. Hopefully, depending on the time. So let's get straight into this. Human trafficking is a very serious issue in the UK and in Europe, especially. Let's see what's been happening in the UK regarding this recently and what is it showing. So, human trafficking, this is the episode 3 of the Big Debate Special. So, police women in raids, 14 women. Now, it's a great thing that police have done that. So, this is courtesy of Standard.co.uk. UK. So, police have rescued 14 women in raids targeting London sex trafficking ring. Now, it's a massive ring going on there. Now, hundreds of women are being trafficked into London to be made to work as prostitutes. The Met warned today as it rescued 14 victims of sexual slavery in the capital. Scotland Yard has said the victims were found at 3 addresses in Harrow and have been brought here from Romania by a well-established organized criminal network to be forced to sell their bodies. One of the properties raided has been identified as, and the 4 men and 2 women have also been arrested on suspicion of modern slavery offences. Now, the alleged crimes committed by the suspects, who are aged between 22 and 37, included holding a person in slavery, human trafficking, controlling prostitution, and money laundering. All 14 women rescued are receiving support from specialist officers. Announced today's successful operation, Acting Detective Inspector Nick Bland warned that there were many similar cases across the capital, with hundreds of women being forced into sexual Unfortunately, this type of exploitation is still happening across London and the UK. This operation is one of many where we safeguard hundreds of victims each year, he said. Often, those affected do not see themselves as potential victims of sexual exploitation, and many will have coerced into this life to make money for an organized criminal network. We believe there are victims of modern slavery in every borough across London, and the public may encounter them every day, possibly without reality that officers were working around the clock to identify people involved in sexual exploitation and urge the public to assist by reporting any suspicions. As well as being sexually exploited, victims have found working in construction, domestic servitude, agriculture, cannabis factories, and in places you use yourself, such as car washes, barbers, and nail bars, he added. We need the public's help as they have an important role to play in recognizing and reporting modern slavery. If you suspect someone may be a victim of modern slavery, report it. You will always be available. The three addresses where today's arrest and rescue took place were Station Road, Indus Road, and Stirling Road in Harrow. The operation was carried out by officers from the Mass Specialist Crime Command with an assistance from colleagues in the Toretto Sport Group and followed liaison with the authorities in Romania as part of the investigation. The Met advises anyone who believes they have come into contact with a victim of modern slavery to call the Salvation Army 24-hour confidential referral telephone, which we will give you the number, which is 0800, or the modern slavery helpline, which is 08 000 121 700. So that's basically one of the a massive situation which is happening in the UK, in in the UK at the moment, uh, and it is a massive situation which is happening, and it's something which is a serious offence, which is something which is worrying. It is very very worrying that there's a massive ring going on in the UK. So, like I said, if you do know anyone, then make sure you do report it to your local police regarding that. So let's moving on to the next news about this. Now, human trafficking victims in the EU, and this is being reported as 16,000, courtesy of europol.europa.eu. So, human trafficking is nearly 16,000 victims in the EU, it says. Uh, it's a hard crime to detect. Now, basically, even if we look at the figures, and we're telling some figures here, from 2012 to 2014, there were 63,251 detected victims of trafficking, 21,000 estimated victims of forced labor, 54% was sexual exploitation, 38% was forced labor, and 8% were other purposes. Now, obviously, 71% were victims are females, 51% are women, 20% are girls, 8% are boys, and 21% are men. And if we look at the human trafficking in the EU, 12% were others, such as organ removal, begging, domestic servitude, etc. 21% were forced labor, of which 74% were male. 67% was sexual exploitation, of which 95% were female. Now, 65% of victims are EU citizens. Top 5 EU countries of origin for the victims are Romania, Bulgaria, the Netherlands, Hungary, and Poland. this doesn't come to one of the top ones in Bulgaria. Human fighting human trafficking in the EU. Now there's 4,079 were prosecution. So these might be several prosecutions for one person, and there were 3,129 convictions. So 21 million people are believed to be victims of forced labor. Many are also victims of trafficking. The majority of sexual exploitation of women and girls, and this is 70% of the total estimated victims in the world. They are reported on here, courtesy of BBC.co.uk, that every year, and these are European cities, every year thousands of women are trafficked to European cities and put to work, having sex with men. Jewel, a young Nigerian who had expected to become a carer, eventually managed to escape thanks to two chance meetings. I just a quote. I just saw light. It's very often dark where I come from because there's no electricity, but everything here was just blinking. It was very beautiful. Jewel, not her real name, is describing. I was thanking God for the opportunity to be in this country. I was looking forward to starting work. Jewel caught a flight from Nigeria thinking she was going to work with old people. People who get trafficked go through Libya and usually take buses and boats. But this was so well organized and that it wasn't suspicious at all, she says. The International Organization for Migration has estimated 80% of Nigerians traveling overland, then attempting to cross the Mediterranean, are trafficked into European sex trade. Jewel knew of women who had suffered that fate after making the Polaris journey. So when her trip began at Lagos Airport, she was reassured. In Copenhagen, she was met by a Nigerian woman who took her to the following day to Vesterbro, Copenhagen's red light district. I was looking around for some sort of hospital, um, end quote. They walked the streets for a while. You were being told to take note of bombshell. She said, "This is where you're going to be working." I looked around to see if she was pointing at a building. I had a notice, but no, she meant where we'd be walking. That's when she told me I was going to be a prostitute, and this was where I'd be hunting for customers. Then the whole of Denmark just crashed down on me. Jewel had one uh, 40th meeting that night would later be important. Michelle Malwater from Hope Now, an NGO spotting trafficked women in Denmark, spotted the tiny, timid 20-something women and gave her a card with a contact number on it. Once her madam told her not to trust this English woman with a bike, then she quickly found Jewel her first customer. The man gave her 4,000 krona, which is basically in UK as 450, $620 to take me home. And then my madam just walked away, said Joe. He drove me what seemed like forever. I didn't speak the language at the time, and I had no idea what he was saying. We had to use Google Translate to communicate. It was scary. In the months that followed, selling sex did not become any easier for Jewel. I wasn't good at it. I in the corner, but always got found because the regulars know when a new person arrives and they wanted piece of the new person. In the most recent figures released by the EU, more than 14,000 trafficking victims were registered in 2017-18, but this would be the tip of the iceberg because they represent only identified cases. Half were from outside the EU, with Nigeria one of the top five nationalists. Sexual exploitation continues to be the main purpose of trafficking, according to the European Commission, and international news derived from it are estimated at a staggering 40 billion euros. The women who earned this money are told they owe their traffickers huge sums for travel and accommodation. They are debt bonded, says Sini Plumbage, a senior researcher in the Department of Migration at the Danish Institute for International Studies. Nigerians are one of the highest debt. It could be between 10,000 and 60,000 euros. When you have that kind of debt, you need to make a lot of money fast. And if you don't have papers, that allows you to work. The fastest way to earn money is in the sex industry. Joe Trafficker said she would have to pay them 42,000 euros in regular installments to underline their point. They summoned her to a frightening meeting in a cemetery the day before she flew out of Nigeria. I was forced to take an oath that I was going to pay the money no matter what, and that I was not going to reveal who trafficked me. If I did, so many bad things were going to happen to me and my family. People just came about not having any ideas about reporting them to the police or not paying the money. So every time I called her, she was always crying on the phone and reminding me that I had to make the deal with these people. I had to pay or something would happen to them. So that's basically the situation which is happening in the UK and in Europe. We'll be talking about another case which happened very recently as well. And this is what exactly happened. So a couple were found guilty by the by a combined Leeds court. Now, this is an article of the Harrogate Advisor.co.uk. So, a Portuguese dominatrix and her English husband have been found guilty of running a sex trafficking and prostitution racket in Harrogate after flying in women from Europe and South America. With what they do, the main places where they bring the women from. Fabiana de Souza, 41, and Gareth Darby, 53, from Norfolk, flew prostitutes in from Brazil and Portugal, paid for their flights, and met them at airports before whisking them off to sex dens, where men paid women for massages and for sex services, Leeds Crown Court heard. Prosecutor Nicholas Lumley QC said De Souza rented a two-bed flat in Harrogate town centre through a letting agency so it could be used for sex, which would be advertised on the internet by these two defendants. It was run as a business by these two, controlled invariable from their home in Norfolk, and the pair of them were in together, he added. The provision of sexual services provided by them was not confined to Harrogate, which was an extension of an existing business. There was another flat in Norfolk put to similar use, and when they become unavailable, even the home of these defendants' workers, the labour force came from overseas, from countries such as Brazil, and they got here by air, and they travel in and out of the country, invariably organised and paid for by these two defendants. He added, as soon as the prostitutes arrived here, they would be installed in the flat in Harrogate or everywhere, always with the purpose of being available for sex. The couple of Town Street in the quaint village of Upper Southwest Norfolk each denied one count of people trafficking and another of controlled controlling prostitution for financial gain. The charges were related to six named women who worked at the Harrogate sex den because 2017. They were found guilty on both accounts on Monday following a 10-day trial. Ms. Lumley said that at least one other woman was prostituted in other parts of the country, including Kings Lynn in Norfolk and Birmingham, but they were not part of the charges. D'Souza and Derby would pay for sex adverts within hours of picking the women up from the airports and setting them up at the flat on Bower Road. The adverts were placed on the classified escort websites Viva Street and Adult Work, including women. They took the bookings and made the arrangements, who would pay various amounts from £80 for half an hour to over 1,000 for an overnight stay. So there you go. Now, basically, this is just some of what's have been happening in the UK, in the EU. So I thought I would bring this to light and bring this to attention on that hard-hitting stuff, which is affecting women in the UK, in Europe, everywhere. As you've seen the other two episodes which we did. Uh, Please do click on the like button. Give us your comments about the big debate special today, which is about women human trafficking, and let us know what you think. And like I said, if you want to join us, if you want to support us, the email address is below, and you can advertise with us. Like I said, we will have a special show today about women difference makers as well. So do check that out. So if you click on the notifications, you will get notified of that. And also, if you want to be a live guest and if you have made a difference in society, contribute to becoming a guest on the show with us, then get in touch with us on the email address below as well. So this is the big debate special today. Like I said about human trafficking, we will talk more. We will bring this topic later on the big debate special later on in the new year as well. And we will see the update on the human trafficking, and we will try to bring someone on board regarding that as well. So I will see you later on. I hope a Merry Christmas to everyone who's celebrating and who isn't celebrating. Hope you're having a nice day. I hope you're having a nice Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great one. I will see you on the next special show later on today, which is about the women who have made a difference to society in different ways in 2021 and in general. So watch out for that. And Bollywood Central also later on today. And until then, enjoy the rest of the day. This is Raju from The Woman Agenda. This is the Big Debate Special.